Welcome to Nightchild Talks Prince, uncut and unscripted. Welcome back to Nightchild Talks Prince, uncut, where we firmly believe that Jamie Starr was not a thief. He was just a very, very funky man. Now, there's two or three things just to talk about today. First of all, there was a track released by the Prince estate. I say released, it's been released before to an extent, called Silver Tongue. A beautiful, truly beautiful ballad, which was a virtual B-side to Call My Name. Now, unfortunately, the Prince estate didn't perhaps do their curation in the best way. They released a slightly different version with some beautiful brush effects, but a different vocal to the original, which some people have said was listed as a demo. But basically, it's a beautiful ballad, and unfortunately, I think it's just sort of, perhaps they could have done a better job, the estate, of listing exactly, putting this into context, because it was left to the fans to do that, and it kind of created a bit of initial confusion, whereas we should have been talking about the track. We were talking about what version has been released and why they haven't sort of clearly denoted what's happened. But they have come back and done a bit more of that, so hopefully they'll continue to do that, because the Prince kind of community, they know their stuff, so it's always good to get those details out there, and it's important for Prince's legacy. In terms of the track, it's a beautiful track. It's interesting because it's one of those tracks where Prince didn't actually write the lyrics. You think of a track like, say, Solo, for example, but this is a track where Nikki Costa wrote the lyrics. She actually talked about it on her Facebook page when she was releasing her 2017 album, which it's on, Nikki and Strings, Underneath and In Between. And Nikki Costa said, "Many years ago, Prince had emailed me asking for a poem. I sent him these lyrics. What he sent back to me was an amazing jazz song with just him singing with piano. I was so blown away by this, and I really wanted to record it, but it never fit on any of my records." His version is the B-side for his single Call My Name, and is one of my proudest moments to have written a song with him that he wanted to record. When we were getting ready to record this album, we listened through so much of my old stuff and stumbled across it again, and thought it actually fits perfectly on this record. We gotta do it. And that's quite interesting, because it is, the lyrics are beautiful, and the kind of angst, the pain, the remorse, that's kind of mournful feel, I think, of it reminds me in some ways of tracks like Old Friends for Sale, things like that, in the sense of it's just a very poignant song, and so it's definitely worth checking out. The second thing I want to say, and this is a kind of personal thing, I just want to say I love the Peach and Black podcast. I've said it before, I've done videos before, I'll put one of those videos in the link, but I just want to say it because sometimes I see them getting criticism for various things, and for me, Peach and Black podcast, it was my gateway into the Prince kind of online world. When I first came online, it was one of the first things I found, and it was incredible. It opened up this whole new world to me where I wasn't the only Prince fan in the world. I could listen to their full-length reviews, and the full-length reviews are amazing, often a couple of hours for an album. And the thing I loved most, it was just aside from the knowledge, the passion, it was also the nerdy Prince humour. I would walk along the street laughing my head off because, I heard some nerdy Prince joke that only Prince fans would get. It was just so beautifully nerdy, and it was just fantastic and funny and engaging, and they talked in great detail about work, which is the key thing for Prince, the incredible albums, and they really did it in the long format. And the album reviews, I think it's hard to say they've ever been matched. They really were the pinnacle for me, and Peach and Black have always been there. They did a fantastic podcast for the Sign of the Times special Turbine release, where they talked along to the music video, and it's just incredible. And there's so much of their stuff on their YouTube channel. Again, I'll put a link in the podcast notes. Just I'm just such big fans of these guys. They know their stuff. They're funny, and it's just something that I listen to for hours and hours and hours, and it just really warmed my heart that someone really produced something I just really wanted to hear, something that I just absolutely loved. I really thought that, you know, they should put their podcast with every re-release of a Prince album. I think the estate, it would be brilliant if they did that. I just absolutely love it. I think they did it out of incredible passion, and there's a great back catalogue on their YouTube channel. And I just want to say thank you to Peach and Black, because without them, you know, my experience would be markedly different, and I owe them, you know, a huge debt. Finally, I say finally, there's two other quick things. There is a new book out soon in America. I'm quite jealous because lots of people in America have got this book. But in the UK, I think it doesn't come out till about the 20th of June. This is Prince and Purple Rain, 40 Years, by the amazing Andrea Swennson. And Andrea Swennson, she did an interview recently with Chris Johnson of the Purple Nights podcast, and that's definitely worth checking out. It's incredible. He gets these guests on there, and just check it out. That's really what I want to say. But it's a book about, obviously, Purple Rain, the album and the film. It has a foreword by Maya Rudolph, and it's incredible. It talks about his early career as well, and the 5 albums that preceded Purple Rain. Talks about the revolution. Talks about each track. Talks about the film and the sound. You know, the kind of the wider soundtrack, the awards, the reception, and it talks about Prince's legacy post Purple Rain. And that's out in the UK, as I said, on the 20th of June. Some places are actually, I have seen the price fall a little bit. So the hardback cover, certainly at some places you can see now, is about £26, which nowadays is pretty good. It's interesting because obviously this is Purple Rain year, and we're expecting a big announcement. So it's perfectly timed, and it's definitely going to be one of those books that's going to be one of the big Prince books of the year. Now, very finally, 6 weeks. We are 6 weeks away from the celebration, so just want to shout that out to people. There are, according to the website, still tickets available, so that's interesting. I think that you know, it's quite possible that maybe we'll get a hint of announcement or something about what's going to happen this year. We assume it's going to be some big Purple Rain Deluxe, but we haven't really heard officially. There have been very, very strong indications, but certainly you would expect something to come through at the celebration. I think it's also there's going to be some appearances. The Revolution, they're going to be there. Morris Day, New Power Generation. You know, there's going to be, and there's a VIP boat cruise on Lake Minnetonka. There's a whole kind of thing. So check out the website for that. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. It's one of those things where it's difficult for the estate because you're going to get a certain amount of people who go every year, and that's fantastic. But you've also got to attract people who have never been. And even for the people who go every year, they want something new every year. They want something, you know, extra, something different. So it's a difficult thing. You've got to keep these things going. There are very few artists that have this kind of amazing yearly celebration. And it's tricky because also it's not with the greatest respect in the world. If it was held, obviously, you know, it wouldn't be Prince if it wasn't at Paisley Park. I'm not suggesting that for 1 second, but I'm saying if it was held, you know, if it was somewhere like New York or London where people were going for other things, it might be easier. But Minneapolis, as Prince said, you know, it's the cold keeps the bad people out. It's kind of relatively remote, and it's something that is part of what shaped Prince and made him who he was. I always think of him toiling away those late nights in the kind of snow around Paisley Park and him just working on his next amazing track. But it's going to be interesting to see how they keep doing this and keep this going and keep getting people engaged in Paisley Park. It's really, really important because it's such a physical manifestation of what Prince is, and for me it's one of the most important things to keep going, to keep that amazing kind of creative palace going. So certainly if you can get there and you can afford to go, then certainly worth checking out. I will see you very, very shortly, and thank you for all your support.